Hi there and good morning everyone. Welcome to lesson number 3 of how to play the flute in 14 days. So you probably have a flute at home and already have seen the other 2 lessons. So you might know that I generally like to give lessons from famous concert halls, and the one you can see behind me, I hope you have seen it, at least in TV, is the Carnegie Hall in downtown Manhattan, New York, where some of the finest musicians have played extraordinary music. And this is another place you need to go if you like music. And so let's start. Do you remember the first lessons? The very first one was how to open the flute case, because I find pupils often having trouble in the first lessons. So I'm going to show again. You have those 2 buttons here on the sides, and you just need to push them outside in this direction, and then you open the case. Okay, let's open it. And what we did next was speak about the keys, the 3 pieces. This is the body of the flute, the main piece in the middle. And we tried to blow into the head joint to produce a sound. And this is where we're going to start today as well. So I'm taking the head joint again here with the lip plate, where it is larger. I hope you can see it. I put it in the direction of my mouth, and then I leave 2/3 of the hole open. I don't try to look inside it, because we flutists, we don't see what we do. So that's really hard. You know, if you have an oboe player, he can look down at his instrument, but he shouldn't. Clarinet players, pianists, they can see their hands. We don't. We need a mirror if we want to see us. But so we should keep our head up high, not really very high, just normal, relaxed, and not look down, as we might cover too much of the hole, and that's one of the reasons the sound doesn't come out quite well. So you put it this way, below the lower lip and on top of the chin, and then you start blowing as if there was a candle a little bit further up, like where the webcam of my computer is, and you're trying to put that thing out, to blow it out like a birthday cake or something. Don't worry about the quality of the sound. This is a very short flute. It's just the head joint, so there's not real quality of sound. And the more air you put in, the harder and louder, the sound will be. You see my lip is really relaxed on top of it, no smiling. You can also imagine blow pieces, right? So this is the first sound that we produced. And we also did other things with the head joint. You can close the end of it here, and you get a deeper sound. Lower, sorry. And then you can blow very hard, and you get the harmonic sound. So now you already have 3 sounds. This is what we started with. I hope you all got those 3 sounds out of your head joint, because now we're going to start to make it very difficult. We're going to put, instead of just head, the consonant H in the beginning, we're going to put other consonants. We can try a G, G. If it's hard, you can also use a K, G or K, K. Or you can use a P, a P. This is to get more confident with the way you blow inside of the head joint before we start putting it all together. And it's also because we don't usually use H or P. We use D or T. Depends on if we want a very precise attack or a very soft one. You usually start with a D, so that's what we actually want. We're trying out all these consonants just for fun and to get more confidence. So let's try a D, D, with your tongue, the tip of the tongue behind the teeth. This is what we want to achieve. once we get the D sound, we are ready to put the flute together. And this is what I promised for today. So let's put this thing together. You remember, I hope, how to do that. Just to tell you again, do not use pressure against the opening of the keys, because that can damage the mechanics of the flute. But if you have to put your hand where the keys are, do it from the side where you see this stick down here, okay? And try to not put too much pressure to it. The best thing is to just keep it where there are no keys and turn it around in the right position, right? You usually keep the flute up here on top of the two little trill keys. And the lower one, the foot joint. And again, like in the first lesson, we put this thing together not like this, but a little bit further up. So we have the position of our hand in a much more natural way. It depends on how long your finger is. If you have a very long pinky, because this is going to be played with the pinky, you need to put this thing further in the direction of the middle of the circle, okay? Don't worry if you don't have holes. It doesn't make any difference for the sound projection in the beginning. Okay, so I have it a little bit like this, usually when I play, yeah. And then we also have the lip plate that needs to be positioned right. And you might remember that we want the whole of the lip plate to be in line with the keys. I can see this is too far on the outside. The best thing is if you have where you put your lips, so the inside of the lip plate and not the hole, exactly where the hole is, aligned with the inside of the keys, like where my hole starts or where you might have just a circle to put your finger in the middle. So when these are in line, you are going to play inside of the mirror in a way that you see not like this and not from down under, but from the front, and this is kept straight. So now this is really a little weird. And if you feel dizzy after producing all those sounds, please sit down, don't overdo it. Playing the flute in the beginning is quite hard, but you will have so much fun once you understand it. So it's really worth keeping it. So you might also have, like my flute has those two triangles that can be put in the same direction. So you also might have help on your flute as to where to put the lip plate. Now, what we want to do today is position our hands on the flute. How are we going to do that? Well, we should imagine a recorder. You have maybe played the recorder or also an oboe or a clarinet, where the left hand is on the upper part and the right hand at the lower part, okay? So if you have done that, left hand up, and you put your thumb on this plate, you see right here, the larger one, not the double one, let's just go with the larger rectangular one. And on the other side, you have one key. We have seen that in the beginning, where there's no keyhole below. So this closes the upper one here. And this is where we want to put our index finger, okay? So just those two, that's enough. If you want to know how to position your hand, you can imagine that the pinky has to go to this key. That was one of the keys that opened, you remember from the first lesson, okay? That's the G sharp key. Well, then the very complicated thing is you have to put your flute, the weight of your flute, on top of this bone here. So in between there and this bone joint, in between here, there's a very soft part, and this is where the flute goes. This is where its weight is kept, not with the lips, not with the chin, but on the index finger of the left hand. Maybe you can see I have a little colors here from keeping it up here. Okay, this is where the flute goes, and it should also always have the finger be flexible so you can still move it. okay, the index finger. And this is where the left hand goes. Hope you can see it. To be able to put it to the side, you will need to incline a little your hand like this, because otherwise you won't get it to the lip plate. So it has to go a little bit further out, okay? Then you have the right hand, and this is where we count from the bottom, which is easier. We have the first little key on the foot joint where the pinky goes, and the others are just on top of the 3 following keys. For me, it's easy because they have holes, so I can't get it wrong. If you don't have any holes, it's just those 3 around the little trill keys that we have found in the first lesson. And you then put your thumb underneath. How do you put your thumb? Well, there's lots of different ways. It's important that it feels natural to you. So what you can do to find out your natural way, because in the beginning everything is difficult and different than usual, you can let your hand hang very, very soft, no rigidity, no tension, and then you let it hang down, and you just keep it up without moving it. And the way that it stands in the air, without any movement, just really relaxed, that is the way to go on the flute, okay? And for me, it's not nice to look at. I've been told many, many times. So please do not copy mine just because I do it. But this is, for me, the best position. You see my thumb is really this way. So it has to go here. And it is, for you, it might be in between those 2 fingers. That would actually be more correct if you put it this way. Important thing is you apply pressure to the flute here, like it's here on this side, so it's a little bit further from the outside. So this thumb should not come out, but should be a counterweight a little bit further on the inside. You will find out. But anyway, let's start and try to produce a sound. So I told you we'll play a B today. And the B is, like we did earlier, the thumb on the bigger rectangular plate, the index finger on the one with no hole beneath it, no hole, and then on the other side, those 3 are just in the air, not too far away, keep them very relaxed, close to the keys, and the only thing we are going to use is the pinky of the right hand, because we need to open this other key down here, which is known as the E flat or D sharp key that we have been speaking about in the first lesson, remember? So that's the B. Pinky right hand, index and thumb left hand. And then, of course, we need to blow inside it. So you put it further away. Try not to raise your shoulder, or try not to keep the flute with your shoulder, because in the beginning it might be weird, a weird feeling. So then you put this in the direction of your mouth. Find the middle of the lip plate. Try to blow in front of you and not inside of the flute, like a candle on the cake in front of you. Remember, we want to produce the sound starting with a D in the beginning. You might hear something like or you make a nice, precise sound. And that's everything for today. So, how to put your hands on the flute, how to keep it up, not raise your shoulder. Keep everything the most relaxed possible way. The only tension you need is from your breathing apparatus. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to learn more about how to breathe, to be able to sustain a steady airflow and to produce more beautiful and longer sounds. So see you again tomorrow morning. I hope you had fun today.